All right, what's going on, everyone? War Media fans and followers out there on Facebook this Friday, Facebook Friday, special bonus. I call this a bonus episode. We've already done an episode of Running with War this week, but I wanted to do another one, given that Josh couldn't be on the last episode for one, and also with the playoffs and everything, we didn't have a show last week. So I wanted to sort of uh, make up for that. And but yeah, right now we just got I said we got Josh here with me. What's going on, man?
No much, man. Nothing much. Just working, grinding, the adult life, as they say.
I feel you. I feel you. It's a we just yeah, we definitely always grinding out there on something or another. But today I was just been sort of laid back, kicking it. I kind of wish it was like, it's a nice ball night we got, to steal a phrase from Michael Wilbon, but we got the 3-game threes tonight in the NBA. The Sky are playing, and it's a lot going on tonight. I kind of wish though it was like last year, because of the weather today. It's been raining and stuff all day. I was kind of wishing it was like it wasn't a bubble where you had the games throughout the day and stuff, but I just been sort of patiently waiting throughout the day because ain't been able to do much outside of nothing. But yeah, now we coming up to the action has started down there in Atlanta, New York, and Atlanta still in the first quarter. Our guy Chris is down there too, man, celebrating celebrating, I guess, a bachelor party or whatnot. Got us wishing we could take the show on the road, man. But they're not at the game, but apparently they're going to be. Did he say he's going to Magic City, or they just going some other strip club?
I have no idea, but I do know one thing. If he hit up Magic City, he might see Lou Will right there next to him.
Right, they might be celebrating after the game.
He might be celebrated after that game, and he should go over there and get them wings. I'm telling you, he needs to get them wings. He needs to be my food taster for me until I go down there for myself. I gotta go down there myself and get those wings. So I need someone to give me what the experience of what it's like to get lap danced and eat wings. I just need someone to tell me.
We gotta live vicariously until we can make it down there ourselves,
Yes, sir.
But and shout out to a lot of birthdays this week. Another big birthday today, the one and only Scoop B, Brandon Robinson.
Yes, sir.
A man going way back, and definitely wish him the best. I didn't know it was even Sean. We have another birthday boy, Sean Terry, our co-founder of We Are Regal Radio. He actually was going to be on the show here, but his birthday plans have ended up superseding the show. He got mixed up with some time and stuff there, so he's admitted to his mistake there. It's on him why. I did my job. It's on him why he's on the show. So we'll get him on sometime soon. I wanted to get him on because I wanted to do some Bulls talk, and he's very big on the Bulls and stuff. He's always in the mix on Twitter with all those Bulls bloggers and everything. So I wanted to get him on, but we'll talk a little bit about the Bulls, I guess. But lots going on in the playoffs. A lot's going on that's worthy to talk about right now. Josh, man, if you want to just start off, man, what personally for you in your mind, what's been the stuff that's been really keeping your interest early on here with these playoffs and stuff?
I think for me, for the most part, it really is this Atlanta Hawks Knicks series, just because Trae Young has arrived. Like, he has pretty much put his stamp on the map as he is that guy. And for Atlanta to have all the weapons that they have, they've been playing great under Nate McMillan since he took over. And it shows in the playoffs. They've limited the most improved player of the year in Julius Randle to very small numbers in production per se, especially from an efficiency perspective. But it interesting because there's so many headlines that come with this. This in this series is not just Trae Young, but it's also the reemergence of playoff Derrick Rose, right? Derrick Rose shining in the way that we know D Rose can shine, but doing it so efficiently, so gracefully. As far as his game is and the skill set emerging from what it once was in Chicago to what it is now, it's just an amazing thing to see. And Derrick Rose right now is the best player on this Knicks team, and he's the one that's helping really keep this team afloat throughout this series. That's why the series is 1-1 now, and that's why he's starting in Game 3 tonight. So I think for me that's the biggest thing as far as the series wise and what I'm paying attention to the most and intrigued by the most.
It's very much, it's been bringing up some conflicting feelings in some Chicagoans, but not so, and for some not so conflicting. It's just for a lot of us, we see Derrick doing well. We want to, show love to him at any point, even with those, Knicks, who we can hardly stand in any proper, situation. But the old Bulls, the last Bulls that we really had a chance to win with here in Chicago, are very well represented on that Knicks team. You look at Rose and Todd Gibson and Coach Tibbs. They really are bringing at the core a lot of the same principles and values that those Bulls had with Derrick Rose and Todd and the bench mob and Luol Deng, and of course, all those guys who, Joakim Noah, of course, everybody who we, had so much love for. It's about 10 years ago now that's been the case. There's been some pictures and posts on social media showing D Rose with the low cut, much like myself back in 2011, going at it. And 10 years later, he's out there a different man. He's been through a lot of different things. He's got the dreads now, but he's still a baller. And it's definitely one of those things where you just feel so proud of him because he comes from the turf. And, proud of him personally, knowing with all that he's been through, that he survived. And he's not just a guy who's hanging on a roster for his dear life. He's really out there hooping and showing himself again to be one of the best players of his generation because he has that heart.
Yes, sir. That's what Chicago's all about, right? We're blue collar. We all about the grind. We all about the toughness. We all about the grit. And that's what Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson bring to this Knicks team. And it's shown. And the best thing about this Knicks team per se is the fact that everybody's bought into it now. Julius Randle has been bought into it. Reggie Bullock has been bought into it. Alec Burks has been really showing up in this series in key moments, and he's showing it. So therefore, Tibbs got this culture on lock. And since that culture is on lock, especially on both ends of the floor, you see a thriving team. This is what Tibbs does. He takes talent that's given to him and gets the most out of them. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to go to the next level, which is the playoffs every year. He's done that in Chicago, even without a Derrick Rose. He's doing it now with the Knicks. So at this point, we shouldn't be surprised, but it is a good thing to see, especially when you talk about what he did in Chicago. And now, even though he's doing it with as we say, maybe an arch villain per se, and a rival as far as the Knicks, it's still really refreshing to see. And the Knicks are always better. The league is always better when the Knicks are better.
Yeah, looking at the action, man, this just is really, this probably is going to wind up being the most even matchup of the first round. And, right now they're going at it. Atlanta's up 3 points, and they just got a lot of physical play involved here. Atlanta's been stepping up, even though they're not really known as a physical team. They're known more as a scoring finesse team. They rose to the occasion. And, with this being, like I said, this being a 1-1 game, Atlanta does have the advantage right now with this game and the next one being at home. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this series go 7. These teams seem, like I say, it's a nice clash of styles in a way. They both got some good talent. And it seems like just things are going to flow back and forth between these teams. But I'm glad to see Drew showing up and representing. I don't know why he's not on the show though. If he can
Shout out to
comment,
Drew, Maestro.
yeah, if he can comment, why aren't you on the show with us? You could be talking too. But anyway, we we gotta go through some more of the East. Like I said, another reason why I want to do this show today is you got this game going on. You got the Nets and Celtics game. We sort of leading up into that. We're gonna be having our guest Duane Rankin on about the time that tip off happens out there in Boston. But we're gonna Drew say he picking his little man. Okay. I got you, Drew. I got you. But we're gonna have Duane on around that time to talk about the West, what's going on in the West. Duane covers the Suns. He is the official Suns beat reporter for the Arizona Republic. So we're gonna give some good insight on that series and talk about, like I said, what's going on there and what's going on in the rest of the West. But before that, we're gonna talk about, like I said, the East stuff. I didn't talk much about the East in the last show, and also talk. I don't know. I don't even know if it'll fit. So I wanted to do the Bulls talk more with Sean, but he's not here. So I'm kind of just wanted to do like an official, goodbye to the, send off to the Bulls. Maybe we'll do that next week. I'll probably get someone else on. Maybe we'll get a Ricky O'Donnell or somebody on for that. I'll see. I'm just talking now. But let's just keep it to the playoff teams here. We got enough to talk about there. Couple of notes I've seen starting off about tonight's game. Serge Ibaka is ruled out for Game 3 with that Clippers Dallas series, and Westbrook is, according to the Athletic, questionable for Game 3. Wizards need a win there. As we look at these series, Josh, we got almost all of the series except for like 2 or 3 0-2. So out of those teams that are down 0-2, which ones do you think are the most desperate right now to get the win, to pick a win up in their series?
I say Boston. Because once if you go down 0-3 to a team with that much firepower offensively in the Nets, you might as well just go home. You might as well get the brooms out. Just go home. Because Brooklyn has too much firepower. And you've seen it in Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, where at any point in time, no matter how much they're down, they are going to come back and they're going to take the lead. And when you take the lead, good luck, especially if they're all locked in defensively. I mean, obviously Jeff Green has been out, so unfortunately that's a big blow to them, especially on the defensive end. At the same time, though, Blake Griffin has stepped up, and we're starting to see the older version of Blake Griffin back in his Clipper days a little bit. And not to mention the reserves are stepping up. When you talk about Landry Shamet and Joe Harris, they're stepping up. So the Nets have too much firepower to where you can't let them get comfortable, and when they get comfortable, it's over. Boston doesn't have that guy to just step up and take over like they used to. Jason Tatum was supposed to be that guy who's been inconsistent. Kemba Walker has kind of been a no-show. So at this point, Boston is pretty much have to win Game 3 to get themselves any sort of life support. Other than that, you can just end this series, call the sweep, and then start your offseason and figure out what you're going to do in Boston, because what you got right now clearly isn't enough.
Definitely, it seems that they're the most overmatched team that in the first round. We can even look at they're probably not even playing the worst. You could argue the Clippers playing the worst ball. We'll get to that in a little bit, but Boston, they, like I say, they just don't have the weaponry to match with the Nets. Tatum has been, people have held out some hope that Tatum would be able to hold keep Boston up on his shoulders, but he's starting to wear down physically. He can't keep everything up on his own, and yeah, I just it's interesting that they got the big, national the network national broadcast on ABC tonight. I guess that's really behind the power of the Nets and what they draw. But we may just that's maybe all we see tonight is the Nets playing ball, because it may just be a beat them down blowout type thing. And I don't know if this is going to be much of a showcase for Boston. It may be more focused on Boston's fans than the Boston players tonight. Given
Yeah.
What Kyrie said, and how that's churned everything. I'm surprised it's churned that much conversation, really, because like I said it the other day on Wednesday show, like everybody knows the history with Boston, and people want to push back and everything. It's like the history is out there, man. People, countless athletes who have come through that city, even as home athletes that you've had, let alone opposing athletes who given testimony to what your fans are capable of doing on any given day, what they're capable of saying and acting towards black athletes. So it's like y'all just got to do better, man. If you don't want, you don't want that reputation, just do better, man. And that's one thing. Let's get into that, in general, because that's an issue now that's spreading across the league. We just getting fans back, and now these people want to act a fool. Westbrook gets the popcorn thrown at him.
Yeah.
And the spit on Trae Young, the incident there in New York. There was another incident in Utah, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like what's going on with these people, Josh? It's like my mom's is she thinks that the COVID has got people's brains acting funny in general anyway. So I don't know if it's something like that, but that's how your mom thinks about these type of things. And I sometimes you look at people, you've been holed up inside for a year and a half almost now, and it's like you get outside, you don't know how to act.
Right.
A lot of these NBA fans need home training apparently, man. What do you think about it?
I mean, I don't think it's that far off, man. I mean, it's like when you first go to college, right? You finally get away from home and you finally get the first taste of freedom. And next thing you know, you go buck wild on your first weekend. Like
right. or your first trip to Atlanta.
For real. First trip to Atlanta. The one thing you don't do. You do the one thing you're not supposed to do, right? It's like I think some of that does play a role for sure. But I also think at the same time, the COVID pandemic in general really brought to light more in-depth realities of what America really is. We've seen it in the protests. We've seen it in the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor situations. We saw how fans and people reacted to Black Lives Matter as a whole throughout the whole entire pandemic. And now we're in an era where not just COVID is, slowly but surely getting better, but athletes are being more outspoken about these social justice issues, including fans and how they react to racial injustices throughout these arenas.
Yeah.
This is just another social justice topic that's continuously being brought up. And I believe people are getting tired of the rhetoric 24/7. And because of that, you're just seeing a reaction towards those things. I think obviously COVID does play a role in it. People are exciting, being super excited to get back out into the outside public and to big time events and things of that sort. For sure, all that takes place too. But I also just think that, fans are really just trying to bring back the normalities of what players have already addressed about, which is the racial issues that take place in these arenas, the racial slurs, the actions behind those racial slurs, and like you mentioned, throwing the popcorn and having beer thrown on players and spit and things of that sort. Like, I understand it's the playoffs, but at the same time, the lack of respect for these athletes or how they're being viewed on a daily basis, especially as entertainers and not as humans. And I think that plays a role in how fans react to even some of their own home players. There's no reason why you should have your home players like Marcus Smart and Tristan Thompson talk about, yeah, this is real. This happens all the time here in Boston, and we don't need to be having that. Or how they're going to try to react to fans that do that if they were one of those victims, right? Like that shouldn't be a case. That shouldn't be a norm. But unfortunately, it is, and it happened. And for Boston to be one of those relevant places where historically racism thrives in fans and arenas. That's just a normal topic in that arena. So it's not surprising, and it's unfortunate. But if anything, this just really sheds light more on the issue that we already know at hand, just like everything else has within this pandemic.
Yeah, man, you hit it on the head, man. I think these battles, these little aggressions. A lot of people call them microaggressions. Some of them not so micro. I think if you throw popcorn or spit on someone, that's more than a microaggression. But I think that all this stuff that we seeing in these recent terms, it just goes back to the ongoing struggle, like you say, about how the fans view these players and how this mostly white society or this integrated society that we try to, constantly hold up, how it views authoritative, empowered Black men. And it's like, when we step up for ourselves and our people, there's always a pushback that goes on. And there's a willingness by the grander society to want to sort of, put us down a peg and make us, not feel as big as we are. Make us feel bad for the stance that we take and just like I say, the willingness to stand up for ourselves. We're uppity if we look out for ourselves and our people in a certain way sometimes, And these, like I say, these NBA players, they live a life for Raleigh, and I think for the average NBA fan, they think that they are these young men are blessed in some way, and that they don't put into perspective how hard they've worked and what they've come from and what they have to offer the society beyond their abilities as basketball players. They just think of them as commodities, more or less. And they're the guys in the jerseys who are tasked with helping their favorite teams win championships. They're the guys who help produce the numbers that allow them to win an over/under bet on their betting app, or win their fantasy basketball league that they're in.
Right.
It's how so many of these people just look at these players, and like you say, they don't look at them as men and as human beings. So even when they get up close to them, and they feel even in that arena, they're up close to these people. They can be within punching distance, and we've had instances where the brothers have gotten off the court and punched dudes for real. Westbrook was showed enough about ready to do that to the guy in Philly the other day. If those are like 6 or 7 dudes jumped on him right quick, like, no, we can't do this. If those dudes weren't there, or if there was just like 2 or 3, West would have probably broke wild and got on that guy for real. But I think there was a report too that the guy was already running out to the ring when he saw Russ. The way he saw Russ go, he's like, "Oh, we could have out of him." But they even in that arena setting, it's like they feel that there's some sort of invisible barrier, and like they could just throw out whatever they want to throw out, and they're not going to get anything back, from these guys, and unfortunately, it's going to take another Malice in the Palace disaster for some of these fans to realize that, you got to do better, or you're going to be in the crosshairs yourself.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned the invisible barrier aspect in arenas, the first thing I thought about was like how some people act at the zoo, right? They forget that there are actual animals that are in these different conventions. But at the same time, someone getting the call.
You blown up?
Yeah, I'm blowing up. Hold on. I'm trying to. On the call.
It's not one of our guests we're expecting.
Sorry about that, peoples. You know, I got important business to take care of along the way. But yeah, I mean, when you think about the overall zoo component, right? There are actual animals that are in the zoo, and there is a barrier. At the same time, though, you know, people still try them. They test to see if they're gonna jump over the railing. They're gonna trust them to see if they're gonna, you know, if they're gonna come attack them, even though they know there's a barrier that's safe, and that's a visible barrier. You know, you got the dumb ones that throw like the popcorn and the sodas, and I want to see if this animal will eat this. Like, you know, you got those type of people still existing in society where they will look at, they'll try to test the waters to see how far they can go. It's the same thing in at least in these NBA arenas. They'll try to do everything that they can to see how far they can go. And and the crazy part is, if it wasn't for the Malice in the Palace, you really wouldn't even know how much of a barrier that would be, because it was the Malice in the Palace to why the NBA got so strict on fans. And some of these things are still happening, and yes, they're being more strict on identifying who the fans were and revoking them of their privileges of being season ticket holders, of coming back to arenas and things of that sort.
As they should. Yeah.
As they should. Most definitely. As they should. Ban them from these events, ban them from the stadiums, etc. I'm all for that. At the same time, though, if it wasn't for the NBA, the Malice in the Palace, you do have to wonder how often would these things be taking place, and how far would they allow these fans to go. And now that because these things are continuing, and there's such a history now, even more, especially more recently in a playoff format of these unfortunate actions taking place. Now the league has to take things to another level. They have to be more strict. They have to take things to another level with fans and security to make sure that their talent that's on the floor is not impacted. And and that's the only way they can move forward with this thing, because outside of that, you're gonna get the same thing over and over and over again. And this is a different era. This is a completely different era of sports. So we have to respect that. We have to put the barriers up necessary, so that way the talent that's on the court is not impacted, not necessarily by just what's being said, but actual actions of violence in a way being targeted towards them. When you talk about the food on the court and throwing food at players and beverages and things of that sort.
Yeah, it's all those things. You know, you got to think about the worst, possible outcomes in situations like that. Is all these things are possible. I mean, we sort of have seen the worst. I guess beyond the Malice in the Palace, the worst will probably be someone losing their life or something in a scuffle. But thankfully that hasn't happened. But I think without the Malice in the Palace, I think eventually we would have had, in the time between that time and the present, we would have had some similar incident happen in the NBA, I believe. So I think the league has reached the reckoning, partly of its own making, but it is in large part about larger societal things that are involved. I believe I saw a post on Facebook earlier today. I think it was from the big homie Michael Tillery, who had proposed that eventually there's gonna be a physical barrier in arenas, and I would hope that it doesn't come to that, but
you probably could now, right?
Right, exactly. Be a lot like hockey, and that would be all. And really, what you've seen too in the post-COVID, or COVID times, I should say. We're not quite post-COVID yet, but you have seen, due to the separating, not wanting to inflame any outbreaks, anything, the separating of the court more, and less if any fans on the court side. When you have the wider spaces for the benches and stuff, we may have something, that may be a routine thing. And I think teams would probably hate to do that, because you'll be giving up a lot of seats, a lot of the richest, the most monetarily beneficial seats for the teams, the franchises. But if we have another big event, a notorious event happen in an NBA arena, it's gonna be that's going to do more to affect the league negatively and monetarily than, you know, giving up some of your courtside seats. So they gotta be proactive about this and get on these fans. And you know, I hate to have such a negative or cynical view about society, but it's just like the grander stuff that we've talked about, the stuff about how people view black men and black athletes. That's going to take a lot more work and a lot more time to get over. So in the meantime, the NBA has to be very proactive in getting control of their fans, and really, we got to embarrass these people who do these dumb things. We got to, you know, ban them and embarrass them, and make the next person who feels, you know, in any type of way about trying to do something to an athlete, you know, make them regret that before they even put that into action. Make them feel like, look, I want to be the next person on the Summer Jam screen. So let me keep my popcorn in my container. Let me keep my spit in my mouth, and let me just enjoy the game. I'll just say what I gotta say. You know, it's bad enough the things that some of these people say. You know, Trey got the F Trey Young chants in New York and stuff, but he can deal with that. You know, he comes right back at him and says what he says, and he drops 30 or 40 on him. You know, that's the give and take that we can deal with as NBA fans. You know, if I'm gonna cuss out the opposing player, he can come back and hit a game with a shot on me. So that's just all in the name of the game. You know, we gotta keep it at that. You know.
Yeah, D Rose mentioned that too in his interview, one of those post interviews. He's like, man, this is just basketball. Like, I'm from Chicago. This is what we do in the sky. Like, I'm not worried about. Like, he said, that's the name of the game. You trash talk. You go out there and you ball and you give respect where it's due. But just know the next game's gonna be that much more difficult. And you saw that because the next play came back and won that game. So. But then Trae Young came back and said, "We'll see you in the A too." So that's what makes it. That's why it's like, okay, you know, you can sense, you know, the hypeness of this rivalry, the intensity of this rivalry. This is a playoff series, and this is what we live for, not just as media critics, as analysts and analyzers of the game, but as fans too. People that watch the game on a daily basis. This is what we wanted. This is what we crave for, and that's what that series brings. Not every series is going to be like that. This is playoff basketball, and that's one of the things you just got to love about. That's one of the things you love about the NBA.
Yeah, like I say, just looking at it as it's playing out again, this is like to be another tight game with New York and Atlanta's, and you got to guarantee at this point that this is going to be the last East series that's going to be settled, because again, the other two series are all 2-0. We saw. Let's get into the Bucks Miami series right quick. That was the last series to go up 2-0. 3-0 now. That's the first series to go 3-0. The other two are 2-0. They could be two. The other two remaining are 2-0. Philly and Washington are 2-0. As Nets and the Boston series could be 3-0 by the end of this season. But Milwaukee goes up 3-0 in Miami, just as impressive down in South Beach as they were in Milwaukee, man. What are you taking from that series, man? Are you impressed with the? I put the question I put up in the rundown is the East the Nets to be is the East for the taking for the Nets? And given the talent and everything, a lot of people say yes. But I don't know, man. The Bucks got to take on the Nets in the second round, unfortunately. But that series could be the defining series in the East this year. The Bucks look like they're ready to take on anyone right now. What's your thoughts on the way that they played and the way that the message that they sort of given against Miami, a team that knocked them out this year? Everybody was like, well, they don't want to see Miami again, and Miami is this. They defending these champions and everything. They finding out that their bubble life is unique. It's not the same outside that bubble.
Yeah, I think there's multiple components when you talk about this actual series, because this is not the same Miami Heat team. I think they actually regret.
I mean, it is. It kind of is literally, but it's not. You know, I'm just.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you said.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe at this point, Pat Riley is pretty much sitting in his chair regretting not pulling that James Harden trade.
Yeah, that's come up. I see that come up today on a couple shows.
Yeah, because looking at that series, Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, those guys aren't showing up in the way that they did in the bubble. And because of that, they're suffering. Jimmy Butler's just pretty much out there. Damn Adebayo is giving me Wendell Carter Jr. vibes, where he gets the ball and he don't even shoot no more. Like he just doesn't even look for his basket, look for a shot anymore. It's like he almost checked out. And those type of plays is what made the Miami Heat so special during that bubble season, right? So the way the Miami Heat are playing right now is not the same as they were in the bubble last year. At the same time, though, the Bucks have improved so much because of their additions of Jrue Holiday and PJ Tucker.
Got Forbes too, and
Forbes,
and talk about former Bulls. Bobby Portis out there playing.
Yes, shout out to Bobby. Yes, Bobby out here doing his thing. He represents the South.
Bobby punching him in the mouth again.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, the Bucks have reinforcements that can actually follow through on their commitments and in their roles now, and having those role players playing at the high efficiency rated play that they can, and having a Jrue Holiday that makes life easier for the Chris Middletons and for the Giannis's, where they don't have to run the whole offense on their own anymore. That really opens up the offensive flow for Middleton to do what he does best, which is at times create, but for the most part, shoot the ball. Giannis, same way. He can focus on going downhill, up and down 24/7 and getting his scoring that way. Jrue Holiday can actually emerge now as a go-to player, especially down the stretch, which is what the Bucks lacked these past few off seasons and past few years, and what equates to why they exited out of the early rounds of the playoffs. They never had a go-to guy down the stretch. Jrue Holiday can serve as that guy now, and has stepped up, and he has stepped up to live up to that expectation. And then you have a PJ Tucker who brings a toughness side that the Bucks lack, and he brings efficient three-point shooting from the corner. So
and ability to guard multiple guys in the front court too.
Yes,
he's tough. He's tough in that way. So that's It so much is less, like you say, just less weight on Giannis and Chris Middleton to perform but the freedom has allowed them to just do what they want. And Giannis can score between 20 and 25, but also give you 15 to 18 rebounds and just play within the game, distribute the way that they need to distribute. I love the way that Jrue was playing and that he's not pressed to score himself. Like you say, he can score, but he's not pressed to score. He's scoring around 15 or so and dishing out around the same number of assists. Right. At least 10 assists in both in all these games, I think. So he's distributing, he's playmaking. The Heat just cannot find anybody who they could focus on, defensively to harass and make mistakes. Giannis is feeling good, doing his little fallback shots, in the mid range, or getting on the low post, and they just got too much for Miami, and that's not a team that seems to be very motivated right now to play ball in the way that they were in that bubble. They seem to know that they're outmatched, especially after that game last night.
Yeah, it's sad to watch, and I really wish Jimmy Butler just said forget it and went back to his older Bulls days, and even what he did in the bubble, and just went to work, because the offensive flow is just not the same anymore. The role players are producing in ways that we were accustomed to seeing them produce. So at that point, as the main superstar on that team, we know that Jimmy Butler has the ability to just take over when he wants to take over, and he will do it at a high rate. He's done. That's really what helped him on the rise of his journey to where he became now. So because of that, he has to go back to that mentality, in my opinion, in order for them to even have a chance. Because you can't trust your role players at this point to perform at the rate that they know that we know, and they have proven that they can. Because right now it's not there. So you got to scratch the book. You got to scratch the offensive playbook and just say, give me the ball and go to work. And let the offense flow through Jimmy Butler on a more consistent basis and just hope at opportune time the role players produce. And because you got to give yourself some sort of life. They're down 0-3. You lost your home court advantage already. You got to be able to just step up and say, forget it. You got to go to work. You got to get this thing done. You got to get yourself at least a chance. The only way Miami's going to get a chance at this point is if Jimmy Butler takes over and says, I'm about to drop 40 tonight. And y'all and carry the team on his back and see where they go.
I think they need that, and they need Robinson and Hero to at least make a few threes, man. They haven't made anything, but they gotta step up in proximity, getting the proximity of what they did in the bubble as far as their shooting and the way that they were impacting the game, stretching out the defense and all that. If they don't get that, I think they could get 40 from Jimmy and still lose. How far do you see this series going? Because for me, I said this on Wednesday again. If you're the Bucks, you kind of want to end this series as soon as possible because the Nets are looking to end their series probably by the end of this weekend. So you don't want to be, mixed up in any 6 or 7 game series, and the Nets are probably gonna be out in 4 or 5 at the most, and they're gonna be just chilling, getting rest that they could use because their guys, they still have only played like 10 games with their big three, so they wanna be rested. They want to be in a place where they don't feel pressed, at least in these early rounds. But if the Bucks are going to do anything with them in the next round, they got to be able to jump out ahead quickly and really jump and take control of that series.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they can actually get it. I think they can pull out the brooms this weekend. I believe they can really pull out the brooms.
I do too.
If not, for sure 5 games. And I think this is the difference this year is because of the veteran leadership that they have on that team with Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker. They've been in those scenarios before. And this is the first time really in a long time since the Bucks actually had a lead on a series. And you have hope that they can maintain it. I mean, the last time you had that was maybe the earlier years of Chris Middleton and Giannis when they first arrived in the playoffs and they took Boston to 7 games, I want to say, in that first series, and then Scary Terry. That's when Scary Terry emerged and that young Boston team. I believe that's the same team that went to the finals that year. So, I mean, outside of that, they went. The Bucks have been exiting out of early first and second rounds. So because of that, I feel more comfortable with the Bucks winning this first series and single-handedly in a sweep or 5 games. Because of what they currently have and the way that they're currently playing. But I agree with you. If Brooklyn continues to play this way and they sweep or get this series done over the weekend, Milwaukee doesn't want to be playing game 6s and game 7s and giving Brooklyn any type of advantage when you want to talk about rest and preparation for this next series.
Yeah. Looking at the schedule, they play the first game tomorrow. The Heat and Milwaukee does. So it's a little bit of a break there for them if they sort of give up that game. I actually think it works in Milwaukee's advantage too because Miami doesn't seem like the type of team or the type of city where you want to play at 11 in the morning. Like on a Saturday, like at 11, we got to get up and play at 11 in the morning on Saturday. What the hell? I don't know if they gonna have their legs under them, man. So.
They probably not. They probably not. That's why they got to get it done while they can, man. They got to get it done while they can.
But I think if Milwaukee, if you stay on the straight and narrow, though, and not get involved in any extracurriculars yourself, get in that hotel early and do what you got to do. They should be ready to go out there and play ball, and like I say, pack it up. But even if they somehow don't get it done tomorrow, I'm guessing they will play again on I didn't get the schedule, but I'm guessing they will play again on Monday So at the earliest, yeah, in Milwaukee, and they'll be back home in Milwaukee because it'll be Game 5.
Right.
But the earliest that the Nets could clinch would be Sunday. So, that's so the break. If they had to wait until Monday to clinch Milwaukee, the time differential between them and the Nets wouldn't be so much. So they actually could give up the game tomorrow if they, if worse come to worse. But I agree with you. Like I think they very well could sweep. So, and I think that could be the case too with Philly and Washington, especially given this report about Westbrook. I'm expecting Westbrook to play unless we're not hearing, unless there's more to what we're hearing than what we've heard. But Westbrook, like I said, he already the incident that we talk about with him going off the court and getting the popcorn on him, he was going off the court because he was injured. He was going to be looked at in the back. And, you already had, Bill, who's been dealing with his hamstring stuff. Yeah. And, Washington beyond those two is just a young, mostly inexperienced playoff team. They don't have much to really offer. So Philly, they're locked in. They know they're the number one seed. They know who they are. And they pretty much got a nice road ahead of them, at least going to the conference finals. You don't want to overlook the next round for them. But especially if we're talking, if the New York Atlanta series does go 6 or 7 and is very hard fought, they're going to be taking a lot out of each other and setting that winner up for a pretty rugged battle against Philly. So, I don't know. Just to look ahead, I foresee Philly getting to that Eastern Conference Finals, and you got to say it's an easier road. It's not an easy road, but it's an easier road than playing either Brooklyn or Milwaukee in the second round, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Philly got an easy road there, and that's why we got to pay attention. That's why I hope the Bucks finish early with the Heat, and I hope the Nets finish early with the Celtics. So now you got two rested teams going at it full fledged before you find out which one of them plays against Philly. And I think depending on the team that Philly has to play, they'll probably win. They'll probably win within 5, maybe 6 games. But I think they're going to be hard fought either way too, because the Knicks defensively they're a gritty, tough team, physical team that Philadelphia doesn't always want to play with, and then Atlanta. They live up to the challenge. You see how they live up to the challenge with the Knicks as far as the physicality and what they bring. It's not going to be a cakewalk for Philly to beat Atlanta like that either, especially since Atlanta has more weapons especially on the offensive end than the Knicks do. So they Philly may have a little bit of a run for their money in this next series. I mean, although we expect them to win pretty much single-handedly, it might be kind of interesting to see how that next round will play out, especially depending on which team. You get the physical side of things, but you also get, some pretty nice offensive firepower that they got to defend.
Yeah, definitely. But we're coming up. We should be having Duane Rankin of the Arizona Republic join us in a few minutes here. Before we do that, I want got another subject we'll probably have to leave off the board for another show. Talking about the potential expansion of the league. I know that's something that you are interested in as well, Josh. But we'll probably hold that off till next week at the earliest. But I want to get right quick into some of the NBA awards that have already been given out, as well as the ones that are to come with we know all the award finalists already, but 2 awards that have already been given out. Julius Randle, you mentioned that earlier about him winning Most Improved. New York Knicks, just a great season for him, a first-time All-Star this year. Averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Is really doing everything for those Knicks. And Jordan Clarkson winning the 6-man award. Him and Joe Ingles, his teammate, sort of did a nice thing, video there where they were sitting together and Joe sort of surprised Clarkson with the award. They were both finalists, but they showed love to each other in that way. And, Joe seemed to be a good sport about it. But, what do you think about these two awards and the guys who got them so far?
Well deserved. Well deserved. Julius Randle, what can you say? He emerged out the gate a completely different player, especially in the offensive end. He added more to his arsenal. He became more efficient. And I think with him buying under the work ethic that Tom Thibodeau and the culture he was establishing within the culture, really excelled him in ways to where he can play as that number one guy from New York, especially when Derrick Rose came along. I think that really played an intricate role in his development, especially on the offensive end and his production on both ends of the floor. And not to mention that he is an all-star this year as well. I mean, you coming from last year where this Knicks struggled, and people wondered how they're going to get to their next hump, how they're going to fix things. And then next thing you know, he comes out of the blue and he's an all-star. I mean, it's well-deserved. What can you say? And, for the Knicks to have an all-star who was also most improved player of the year, you got to tip your hats to the Knicks and what they're doing over there. And you can tell that the culture is being established, the direction is moving in the right way. And the future looks bright for what's currently going on with the Knicks. And transitioning to Jordan Clarkson in Utah, yeah, Jordan Clarkson did his thing this year. He was definitely by far my candidate, my pick for sure for a Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, the Jazz became the number one team in NBA, and the way that they did it, and it's just impressive. Reminded me of pretty much like a younger Spurs team, where you got a couple superstars on your team, but at the same time, a lot of good quality role players that played in a Popovich-esque type of offensive system, and everyone thrived. And Jordan Clarkson definitely thrived this year, emerging as a six-man candidate, which we always thought was a role for him anyways, especially when he was playing with the Lakers and ended up getting traded in a LeBron James trade. Well, not LeBron James trade, but he ended up getting traded to the Cavs and ended up playing with LeBron the year before LeBron.
Yeah, that mid-season trade.
Yeah. So these awards didn't surprise me. Both of them were very much well deserving of the award. I actually, if I was to submit my vote to the NBA, those two would have been my candidates for those awards. And but the best for them, for real. They deserved it.
Yeah, it definitely shows you how deep and sort of multifaceted that team is in Utah. But like you said, those Spurs teams were those Spurs teams were under Popovich, and the teams that won all those titles with Ginobili and so many guys coming off the bench. It's rare though to have two guys from one team who are honest, contenders for the same award, let alone award like the Sixth Man, which is very specific.
Yeah.
So, they got a 6 and 7 man in Utah. They are pretty, doing. It's still, a little bit of a challenge for them with the Memphis starting off with they looked a lot better with Donovan, Mitchell returning to the fold.
Yes.
In that game too, so they're gonna get back at it tomorrow, I believe, with their next matchup. But Randall, going back to Randall again with his award, is just really a no-brainer there, and it's really the first time since Melo that they have a guy who they know they could build around now, a young guy who is emerged now as a star, he can give you that double and. Just really take over things. Now, to that extent, he's been a little shy in the series so far here against Atlanta. It'd be nice to see him, reassert himself over the course of this series. I don't know what he's doing tonight exactly, but the Knicks are still competing, so you got to figure that he's contributing somehow there. So we'll see how he establishes himself in the playoffs. With the Knicks, even going back to that Melo era, you were talking about a team that, had so much expectations and so much that they were hoping to do, but in the end, they only had one playoff series win, and with Melo, and it wound up going right back to their usual middling play soon after, and he left, and everybody from that team left. So, the Knicks gotta want to make this a different narrative for them this time around, where it's not just them peaking up and contending for one year or two and then falling back off. They want to make it last a little longer than that. But I'm peaking up because I was switching back to the Sky game as well. I see at the half now it's 58-44 Atlanta. So yeah, Atlanta maybe trying to take real control of this series, and they say they ain't no more games in GA. Like Pastor Boy said back in the day. Atlanta, this will be a good series for them if they can take control and win in 5 or 6 even. I think that'd be a good sign for them too, because that's another team where it's like, who really takes them seriously in the playoffs, But I think that'd be a good look for them if they could get rid of these Knicks in the next game or two and going into that potential Philly series. It'd be a nice boost for them.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. Trae Young, he's emerged as that guy in Atlanta, and I think with the coaching change that they made, removing Bud Pierce and bringing in Nate McMillan, an actual experienced coach, especially when it comes to the playoffs. He may not have had the greatest success in the playoffs. He's known for having tough playoff runs and having those tough teams give other top tier opponents a run for their money, and that's what he's doing with Atlanta. And the team is bought in. Atlanta has a lot of offensive weapons, and as long as you can get them to lock down defensively, Atlanta's tough to beat. And Philly's going to have a lot of their hands, especially if they have to play each other in the next round.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're looking to go up to the top of the hour here. Hopefully, Duane Rankin can still join us. I'm gonna check up with him, but whether he does or not, we just transition over into that Western Conference play. Mm-hmm. Again, the game tonight, just the one Western Conference game tonight with the Clippers and Dallas, and tomorrow. I guess tomorrow we'll get back to the Lakers and Suns. Okay, and there we go. I say the series name and he comes up, it pops up right, right when I do it. It's like Beetlejuice or something, man, or Candy Man. I was gonna call Duane the Candy Man. No.
There you go. That brother was crazy in that movie now. Y'all know he was. Well, you got to be a little older to know that movie.
Yeah. They trying to bring it back though. They say they remade it, so hopefully that'll be a little scary too. But Duane, man, it's nice to see you, brother, man. I appreciate you jumping on. Suns reporter for the Arizona Republic, the man to go to for the inside on the Suns. What are you saying? I'm just saying.
I appreciate that. That's good looking.
Yeah. I don't know nobody else to go to for the Suns stuff myself.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the confidence you have in me. Not many do.
Oh man, well that's their fault, man. That's their fault. Man,
you gotta be modest, man. You gotta be modest, just a little bit. Bit.
I don't know, man. Modesty hasn't gotten me enough. You got to blow your own horn.
I'm gonna take heed of your advice on that one.
Right. I'm saying, man, how you doing though? You out in LA, right? Are you out in LA?
No. We're they're not giving us any more access than we would if we were out in LA. So it's kind of like what's the kind of defeating the purpose. But if the Suns make this a series and push to 6th, and the plan is to go out there for Game 6. So.
Okay, well, see, that's a big if there, man.
No doubt.
We let's start there. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I want to get you on is, you have an off day here today, but that game yesterday just wasn't very encouraging. What were your thoughts on how it played out, and what do you think is the mind state for the Suns right now, down 2-1 to the defending champs?
Well, first, brother, ain't no off day. I'm working on a story right now, so
I'm saying off day for them. I mean, let me be clear. The off day for them.
No. There's no off day for them either. I mean, the Suns practiced today. I mean, they did like a little light thing. The Lakers took the day off. They're like, hey,
that's not surprising.
We got guys hurt. You know what I'm saying? Bron ankle. We got to get that better. AD, he was walking wounded until they threw a lob to him, and he was finishing those. So they took the day off. But no, as far as Phoenix goes, I mean, Chris Paul, I mean, he just has to be in better health. I mean, if he is what we saw last night, if he comes back with that again, that's not going to be good enough. And there's no fault of his. I mean, it was a crazy play how it happened. I mean, he's trying to get a rebound. He's trying to test LeBron. He's like, he got that warrior, I don't care who it is, I'm going to try to make something happen. It was probably the wrong guy to be trying to contest. Then he bounces over him, turns around, Cam Johnson, bam, cracks his neck. You look up, he's like, he's walking wounded right now. So he's gotten better. They figured some stuff out with the treatment, but I mean, they can't have 7 points from Chris Paul. I'm sorry, that's not going to get it done. I mean, they had 95 points as a team last night, and that's not enough. And DeAndre Ayton, as good as he's playing, he's not the guy that can just go off. He's not the 40-point guy. What you're getting is what you would get anyway. If he was at his best, he's a 22, 28, 26 guy. But they could use a 35, 40 piece from him. But the Lakers the way they're defending, they're taking away the perimeter. So he's kind of getting, one-on-ones where, the team just sort of penetrates and kicks it to him for a dunk. So he's kind of getting, I don't want to say they're letting him score because they're not, but they're not going to let Booker do what he does. And so that means that Ayton's getting more opportunities, but they're going to live with Ayton shooting 11 for 13 and not getting to the free throw line, then Booker going for 40, 45, hitting like 6 threes, and then you got a problem because then that's opening up for everybody else. And Crowder's hitting, and then although Crowder is 2 for 20 from 3, I just looked it up in the series. It's a problem. You cannot do that in the playoffs. So they need him to get back on track. And he's had this all year, Kyle, where he'll go through a bad stretch, and then all of a sudden he shoots 8 for 9. And you're like, how does this happen? How does he go from 2 for 16 and then go 8 for 9 in the next game? I mean, so that's what the Suns are banking on. That eventually it'll click in and he'll hit, and it's gotta be tomorrow night. Because if it's Sunday afternoon. Because if it's not, it's 3-1. And it's over.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you guys are playing tomorrow or Sunday, but it makes sense.
Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
That's the benefit of playing the Lakers. You get those extra days off because they want to put them on the big national games. But
you getting them days off in LA. I mean, that's kind of not the place you need days off.
Yeah. We were just saying that about Miami and Milwaukee. Because they got to play early tomorrow. He's like, man, I don't know if you want to be getting up at for the 11 o'clock game in Miami on the Saturday. That's kind of rough.
Oh, no doubt. But 2 days in LA, I mean, I get the restrictions, but these guys, they don't want to say they got vaccinated, but truth is most of them have probably gotten vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be out and about, or at least – that I just don't. If I'm Suns, I'm like, man, I don't like that 2 days in LA, even though it's days off. But that's the wrong place for the visiting team to be having days off. I know before pandemic, that was like, well, you're gonna lose because you're on a 3-game road trip. You played the Clippers, then you had 2 days off. You played the Lakers. Well, you're gonna lose to the Lakers because you got that extra time in LA.
Right.
So it's different with the pandemic, but still, that's just not a good thing.
Yeah. But Josh, I'll let you ask something in the second here. But I saw like a headline on your paper in your sports section today that sort of made mention of the Lakers maybe being in the Suns' head right now. Do you think that is an impact, like spiritually or emotionally or whatever, or mentally? I guess we'll just leave it at mentally. Do you think that there's a mental thing that's also affecting the Suns right now, and just being like, man, we especially when you think about maybe this is just on Chris, but he has that history now of being injured at the wrong times, and it's like this Suns team may be feeling like that Houston team a few years back, where it's like, man, we had this chance, and now it's messed up because our general is down. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, if you really look at it, this season has been so crazy that, truth be told, it probably should be flipped. I mean, the Lakers should probably be the 2 seed, and the Suns should probably be 6-5 seed, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or 7. I mean, because of the way the season went, but the Lakers having all these injuries. I mean, if they didn't have all these injuries, they probably would have been a 1 or a 2. So it's kind of
looking like they'd at least be top 3.
Right. So you're kind of thinking, this is probably, it should be flipped. But, the season played out the way it played out, and the Suns won 51 games, and they deserved that number 2 seed. The problem is that, it's gotten chippy now. It's talking going on. And, when you're losing, it doesn't benefit you to really be chatting. But like Devin talks trash. That's just, those of you who haven't seen him play, I've watched him now 3 years. The guy talks trash. That's just what he does. So he's talking. Jay Crowder, he loves to talk. So you got 2 guys, and Chris loves to talk. So you got 3 guys. That's your leaders. These are your 3 leaders on the team that like to, pop off at the mouth. So, but
what was the reaction to the stuff involving Crowder and Booker last night? What was the reaction to that?
Oh, Dennis Schroeder, he was smiling the whole time. He's talking about, he's like, if you're going to disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you. You're going to talk trash to me, I'm going to talk trash to you. Smiling all the time, looking like Wes Snipes, Demolition Man. I mean, he was just straight cheesing the whole bit. And I'm just like, yo, Schroeder don't care. I mean, Schroeder's like, my mama raised me right. And then he went into that. I was like, dang, Dennis, like, I didn't know Dennis got down like that, So you got him talking. LeBron is like, that thing with Crowder, we was, between the legs and all that. Man, that got Jay heated. Jay was leaning on him the rest of the game. Like, he's like up in his body. And LeBron just like pointing back, like, see this right here? Like, he in his head. So when you're talking about like the history of something, that's kind of part of here being in Phoenix, that whole idea of, LA is LA and Phoenix is not.
An inferiority complex.
So, it's kind of that in a way. But then, as far as this series goes, they're playing a team that clearly has the 2 best players in the series, and LeBron and Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis he's even coming out. He's like, yo, yeah, Jay and I were talking. So he basically called out every mano-a-mano conversation going on. He's like, me and Jay LeBron, Dennis and Devin. So they're all like, they're enjoying this. I mean, LeBron, after he scored, he's dancing on the sidelines with Montrezl Harrell. I mean, they're having a ball. And the Suns are just like, okay, we watching this. But what could they do about it? Last night. They couldn't do nothing about it because LeBron's getting to the cup whenever he wants. Davis is doing this thing. And Schroeder, to me, has been the unsung guy because they could live with Davis and LeBron going off if the rest of them weren't.
Sure.
Well, Schroeder had 24 in game 2. He had 20 last night. Anybody counting on Dennis Schroeder doing that?
That is, it's definitely not ideal.
I'm just saying, I'm not knocking his game. I think he can play. Now, I'm just saying, if you went into a series and you were thinking, if you were the Suns, you were like, well, if LeBron and AD go off, okay, but we can't let Schroeder, we can't let the other guy do their thing. And then Schroeder is killing them with that. You know how he has that underhand release? He's just killing them with that. He's getting to the rim, and it's just like hitting. And he got that set shot kind of three. That's going down. So, I mean, you're looking at 3 guys. It's essentially the offense. Because Caldwell Pope can't hit a shot right now. Russo, he's making his share, but not a lot. And then the big fella Drummond, they didn't unlock him. He's like the Kraken on certain plays. He literally had Frank Kaminsky like, please do not come in the lane, man. Like, kick the ball out. I don't need
that's a rough matchup, man.
So yeah, I mean, so they've got matchups in their favor. And if Devin's not hitting, which he's not, Crowder's not hitting. Ayton is the only offense they really got going. Again, Cam Payne, he's just coming out of nowhere. But see, when Cam gets hot, it's at the end of the game. They're like down. So he's like, he's trying to bring them back.
Yeah.
Maybe if they got what they were getting from him early in the game, they can maybe get a lead and then try to win at the end. But Chris Paul is the closer, and he's not closing because he's hurt. I mean, Monty sat him the last 7 minutes of game 2, the last 9 minutes of game 3. So your guy that's been closing games all year is watching with his warm-ups on. It's not good.
Nope. Not at all. Josh, you got something, man?
Yeah, man. Obviously, you talked about, first of all, it's not seeing you and meeting you, my brother. Glad to have you on. But obviously, you talked about from a leadership perspective how Chris Paul has always been the guy leading this team, and now that he's injured, he's not playing up to the potential. Who is that next guy that's got to step up, especially when you talk about Devin Booker struggling and DeAndre Ayton not living up to a high-level performance that you would ideally want to see in those type of situations? Who do you believe could be that potential guy that got to step up and lead this team in order to give them a chance?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ayton's playing great. We're just not giving them the 30 that they need right now, 30, 35. He's giving them 21, 12. The guy's only missed like 5 shots. I mean, 7 shots all series. He's like 32 for 39. I mean, you can't beat that in terms of, but it's all in the paint. And the Lakers are living with him doing that because the other guys aren't getting off. So you clearly need Devin to be able to start hitting some threes, hitting some shots. But the guy I look at is Mikal Bridges because he's the guy that can get it in all kinds of ways. He gets it in transition. He gets it in pull-up. He gets it in threes. He defends. Like, he's a guy that can flip the game because of all the other stuff that he does. The problem is that LeBron outweighing him by like 60 pounds. So when when LeBron makes his mind up, I'm going to the rim. And that's another thing. I'm looking at LeBron. I saw LeBron in his first playoff series. And I covered that first run he had in Cleveland. And this is how I know LeBron is old. Because there's some moves that he's doing now. Those were finishes above the rim with his elbow in the basket. But now he's got the strength factor where he just powers through people. And so if Bridges can somehow, you got to frustrate LeBron because, LeBron likes to hold it. And do this stuff. You got to crowd him in and force him to either A, do something and get the help, or B, play off and say, you know what, shoot that 3. I'll let you have that. I'm going to live with LeBron knocking down 3s as opposed to him getting to the basket. But truth be told, I think Mikal Bridges is that guy that if he can raise his level and give him 18 to 20, as opposed to this 7 to 8 that he's given now, he's capable of doing that because he's done it all year, then that's a different team now. Because what the Suns like to do is get the corner 3. That's all based off ball movement. Devin draws attention, he kicks it. Next person kick it. If you're in that corner, pull it. not getting that shot that they're normally getting, and that's Mikal's area. So if they can get Mikal uncorked a little bit, knock down some threes, because he, like I said, he can do so many other things. He can get you 20 in like 3 or 4 different ways. So he's the guy to me. If I'm saying somebody got to step up, other than Devin, who had 2 30-point games 1 and 2, but he only had 19 last night. So if Devin can get back to that 30, which we know he can, and Mikal can give him that 20, and they can raise his level to like that 25 to 26, now you got that's opening it up for everybody else. And with right now, the Lakers are just so tight on the perimeter that the 3 balls are being contested, and that's a problem.
With Brian, you don't want him getting that. The one thing I noticed with him, you don't want him getting that shoulder down to the baseline, looking like Smith in '88.
Yeah. You don't want all that. You don't want that tattoo all up in here. Like you don't want that.
He come up with the quick. The one thing he still do quick. He come up with the quickness on that baseline, and then he just throw it down. He loves to do that. But
yeah. You don't want that. I mean, he got this fadeaway down now too. The little fadeaway from the corner. I mean, that's become one of his. I don't know how he's making it because it looks kind of awkward to me, but he knocks it down. So it's just, unfortunately for the Suns, they drew the worst team they could draw, and that's just where.
What was the feeling? What was the feeling during the play-in? Because I was talking with some people during that LA Golden State game, and I was like, everybody is enjoying watching this game. The Suns fans have to be like, damn, we got to see one of these teams in the next round. Like, I figured y'all were the only in Phoenix. Y'all were the only ones who just were like not enjoying that game at all because both of those teams were looking like it was going to be hell for the Suns. But at the same time, this was a very good season. And, I remember talking to you after the bubble, and, there was a lot of encouragement and stuff given what they did in that bubble. They didn't get to play in the playoffs, but they didn't lose a game in the bubble. It was such a interesting run there. But and you guys knew the talent was there and everything. And this was without Chris. This was without Paul. So now you get Chris Paul and everything, and it's like, man, you ready to go. But what do you think is going to be, win or lose? Is edging more towards the latter. But what do you think the mentality is going to? I'm just being real.
Oh, I know that. Oh yeah, I know that. You definitely keeping it Dave Chappelle. You keeping it real.
What do you think the mentality is going to be? Because the NBA, it is like you got to pay your dues in the playoffs. Even if no matter what your seeding is, at some point you got to pay your dues. And it seems like the dues that this Suns team are going to be playing right now.
Well, first, they're a win away from getting home court advantage. I mean, if they get Sunday's game, then it's a whole new series. Guess what you love about a playoff series? It's like it swings. Okay, they dropped 2. It looks bad. They can't score. They can't stop Anthony Davis. LeBron just having his way. Jay Crowder can't throw it in the ocean. Devin Booker's frustrated. He's getting ejected. Jay Crowder gets ejected. So all looking lost. All it takes is a win, and all of a sudden it's looking a whole different direction. So that they get this game 4, then we got a whole new series. But win or lose, whenever however far they go, I mean they got decisions to make in the offseason. Starting with Chris Paul, I mean he the one got the decision. He can either dip into that option, take the player option, take that $44 million, or become a free agent and look for somewhere else to go. Someone might give him a longer deal. What's hurting Chris though right now is that injury. Yeah, because that once again looks like, well, how would we invest a 3-year deal, something like that, on a 36-year-old who now has hurt his shoulder? So I'm hoping for his sake that. He's gonna recover. He's not gonna get 100% right or even close to that in these playoffs. However long they go, ain't like he's gonna end up in the finals. You're gonna be like, oh, he's still gonna be hurt. So no matter how far they go, it's still gonna hurt. But that's obviously priority number one. If you're the Suns, you're thinking, okay, how can we make this work for him to stay? And Ayton and Bridges, hey, look, you gotta pay one of these guys. I mean, you mean one of these guys got to get money. I mean, like big money. They're third year players. I mean, it's coming. But right. They got to do something with those two, and so they got decisions to make on what they're going to do with the dollars. Now the team owner has said, they went over the cap last year. They have no problems going over the cap again because they're seeing that that's what you got to do. If you're really trying to win, you got to spend the money. I mean, you look at Golden State, their team owner, GM, they just like whatever. I mean, they're just writing blank checks.
Put down whatever they need to.
Whatever you need, we got you. So that's what you got to do. I mean, they're millionaires, they're billionaires, they can afford it. But the reality is that, like I said, they drew the wrong squad. I think they would have beat Golden State fairly easily, to be honest with you. I mean, I know Steph would have went nuts, but they ain't got nothing else scoring wise. I'm sorry.
Sure. It showed in those games. Like,
it's Memphis. You can see it. Like, ooh, Steph is out there. They were treating Steph like Jerry Rice. It was like two dudes out there, and it's
like bracket coverage.
Bracket coverage to them like Megatron. It's like, nah, dude, you're not going to the house on us. You better get one of them other guys to do something because it ain't happening here. So I mean that's what it really came down to. So I'm looking at the whole scene and I'm just like, they drew an unfortunate matchup. But the thing that they had to be thinking, if we get by the Lakers, it's on. It's on. And then Chris Paul got hurt.
Yeah,
and they haven't been the same since. Even when they won that game, you could tell that in the fourth quarter, it was all Devin and everybody. Ayton got a big tip in, but that's another quick thing about Devin. I know Joshua was asking about who had to step up. Devin has, I believe, 14 turnovers in the first 3 games. Can't keep doing that. The problem is that he has to handle the ball because Chris is hurt. So your best player is turnover prone. It has been turnover prone all year. Ever since I started watching him the last 3 years, he's had turnover issues. Not all the time, but he has stretches where he does this. He has one of those stretches down. So what do you do if you're Monty Williams when your best ball handler is hurt and your best player has turnover problems? I mean, he earned that Coach of the Year. He about to win because he got some decisions to make all the time now with this team. Whereas before, he used to just be like, "Here you go, Chris. Go handle that." He can't do that now. And it's frustrating everybody because they're like, we had a team that could compete for a championship. And so that's what it's got to be thinking moving forward. If they lose this first round, they got to be thinking, you know what? We were injury away from making a deep run. All we need to do is retool, get better, add a big, an athletic big, because no offense to Dario, no offense to Frank Kaminsky.
They should know. They
need something else that can, when Ayton goes out, they're not losing much or hardly anything. Right now, when Ayton goes out, particularly in this series, I mean, Andre Drummond, he's got like forks and knives. He's doing like this. He's like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to eat now. I mean, so they need another athletic big, or at least someone that can hold their own in a sense and give them something. Dario, he likes to play on the perimeter. Frank is basically a 3-man and a 5-man's body. So, I mean, it's just not ideal against what they're playing right now. Now, all these other teams they play, that's fine. But you got to go through Lakers, Denver, teams like that. What they got in common? Denver got the best big in the league other than Embiid. And the Lakers got stacks upon stacks of bigs. I mean, so that's what they got to go through. And if you don't have that size to match them, you're going to end up where they are right now, 2-1, looking at everybody on the bench and going, how do we fight this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry. I don't want to be too fatalistic, but you did a good. But see, I want you guys to get back into it and make it a series, definitely, at least, or if not win, you know, so because somebody got to take down that dragon with the Lakers, man. But it's just gonna be really funny to me, like funny in multiple definitions, if the 7th seed exits the West, you know, takes over the West, and then it's gonna be it's again, it's like, oh, when you put LeBron in with any team, he's going to the finals. It's like, I'm not trying to hear all that, man.
You don't want to hear that again? You don't want to hear that again?
No, I don't want to hear that, man, because it shouldn't happen. We shouldn't have a 7th seed winning any conference. But, you know, with that said, Duane, you know, who's going to save us? That indignity. Who's going to save us? Because I don't know. If it ain't your guys, I don't know if it's going to be Denver, man. Dallas is looking good, but, you know, they're playing against the Clippers, so you can't. Right. How can you measure that up against
you can't take much from that.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I mean, in your opinion, you know, what do you think about the other series in the West right now before we wrap up?
I tell you what, man, I've been like I've liked what Dallas has been doing as of late. Before they got into the postseason, I just thought that they were figuring it out, and that Luka was figuring out, and they were playing my man from Villanova,
Brunson. Yeah, Chicago guy. Yeah.
Right, they started playing him more. You know what I'm saying? So to give Luka off the ball a little bit and away from, because, you know, Luka was handling the ball too much. I'm sorry. Jalen Brunson, he's a dog. You know what I mean? He wants to get out there. And they was letting him sit idle. And I was like, dude, why y'all got this dude? You know what I mean? Make the trade or do something. So, but they letting him play now. So you got him, Hardaway, Porzingis, of course, who, you know, he's fragile, but he's playing now. So you got to roll with it. You know, they got, you know, Keebler and the other big, I can't think of his name. They had another big out there as well. And then Cauley Stein. And so they got some bodies, you know what I mean? And Luka is just, he's got that square frame, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of awkward, you know, like, but they can't keep him out the lane. Like I was in there watching, like, you know, he's not darting by nobody, but I like Dallas. I like Dallas going into the postseason. It's going to look bad for the Clippers if they lose that series, man. I mean, come on, man. You supposedly lost these games on purpose to get that matchup, and then you turn around and lose the game, and you got playoff P and Kawhi. Kawhi is the most fascinating basketball player next to Kyrie, in my opinion. Because Kyrie, we know what Kyrie is. The guy's ultra talented, but, you know, it's like you don't know what he's going to say or what he's not going to say. It's just, you know, he's must see on a whole bunch of levels. But Kawhi, you watch him play, and it's like, this dude is playing by himself. Like it's like the other 4 guys are doing stuff, and then he just decides, you know what, I'm shooting the ball right here. You know what, I'm gonna get this rebound here. You know what, I'm going to the rim right here. It's like I would love to be in one of their film sessions to see if Kawhi is actually, you know, involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see how engaged he is with the other guys. It just seemed like he's just doing his own thing. You know what I mean?
Sitting in the corner processing everything on his own.
Yeah. He's like, I'm the best player on the team. All right. You know, I guess, you know, I got to do this, I got to do that. But it's like, I don't, you know, you want to, you know, people want all this emotion and all this fist pumping. Look, that don't impress me. Damian Lillard, the guy hardly shows special expression at all. He's knocking down 45-foot shots. I'll take that any day over somebody doing all this screaming and yelling. But it's like Kawhi, you just wonder, I would love to have, you know, him and Pop, how was that really working? You know what I mean? Like, I would love to sit down with that dude.
Well, it was seen. I don't know, but it was seen that it worked to a point where at one point he was just a guy who was taking in knowledge and stuff. Then at a certain point he was like, okay, I got enough knowledge. I'm gonna get mine.
Right.
And Pop couldn't handle that.
Right.
And there were guys couldn't handle that, so he went about the business.
So I don't see the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers stopping the Lakers. Although I think that's the team that has the best chance.
Talent-wise, yeah.
Yeah, talent-wise, yeah. I mean, they right there. I mean, I would take Rondo, playoff Rondo, to helping them get through that. But
it seems like they can't put it together. It's like I saw like a segment on ESPN today. They were talking about how good the perimeter defense has normally been, and it's like over the course of the regular season they were like a top 10, with ratings for giving up threes and
right.
and all that. But they fall into the bottom of the rankings in the playoffs in that set. And of course, there's the matchup in the way that Luka and everybody's playing in Dallas. But it's also got to be a thing where it's like, where are these guys' heads at? Where are they? It seems like at any source, any type of little bit of frustration or pushback that the Clippers get, they just fall back and they can't play their game anymore.
Right, and that's a problem. I mean, so I'm just looking at the teams, and I don't think Utah. I mean, even though Chuck Charles is like Lakers can't beat Utah in a 7-game series. I mean, I beg to differ. I mean, I just think that they would play him half court and it would force Rudy Gobert to play defense, and Rudy would be fouling, and he'd be out of there, and then it'd be off to the races in the paint. So I just with the Clippers, to me, have the talent to match them, and again, if Chris Paul was healthy, this would be that series right now. But because he's not, we're kind of looking at it and going, well, you're hoping if you're Phoenix, you're hoping that the miracle happens with Chris Paul, like he gets like this remedy.
Yeah,
he come out there game 4, and it's like, he's back. You don't get that. It's a long.
Y'all in Cali, he could get some medicinals while he out there, or or some CBD at the least.
That's why you don't need to go to Cali. See that right there? That's why you in the shot. That's exactly why you in the shot.
And we legal out here too. So
I know that, but
that's where I need to be. Let me stop, man. Let me stop.
You gonna get yourself like Godfather Harlem, where they come into your house, knocking on the door. Ellsworth, under arrest. And I love it. I can't even.
I ain't got that pull like Bumpy either. So let me be. Let me stop.
Pull though. Bumpy be pushing them buttons. I'm like, yo, this is wild stuff right here. I know they. They fictitious. They
work some things around.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100 on 10, but yeah, it's crazy.
That's a good show though. I watched that too. That's a good show.
It's popping. It's popping.
But man, Duane, I appreciate you, man. I always have fun talking to you, man. Really glad you made time in your busy day to talk with us.
Yeah.
I see you got a. It's not over yet for Phoenix.
No, it's not over yet. It's not over.
I said, I'm rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all to make it a series, and I'm rooting for y'all to win, man. Like I said, I don't want to see no O'Brien in these finals, man. But I think it's gonna wind up being Dallas and Lakers in their conference finals myself. I think that's what's gonna happen.
That'd be interesting. I would love to see it. Luka. I would love to see it, but. At the end of the day, Chris Paul, man, he's got the most.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, he got the most important shoulder ever in the history of Phoenix basketball.
Yeah, and
it's not looking good. I mean, he started off well game 3. You know what I mean? But then as the game went on, it was like.
You know what? It made me think right quick. It makes me think a lot of that series. Josh, you remember when we had Rondo and The situation was a little reversed because the Bulls were, of course, the obvious underdog, but Rondo carried them through that series. Then he gets hurt, and it looked like the Bulls were going to, right when he got hurt, like the Bulls were in position to win that series. He got hurt, and it all fell apart. So it shows you the difference maker that those type of players are. Rondo, of course, back, especially when he was dealing back then. And Chris just has been amazing this year, but you wish that he could just get through a playoff unscathed and be able to show his talents. But it just don't seem to be the case.
Yeah. It's tough luck, man. I feel for him because you know how hard he worked this year, and he had a hell of a year, man. I mean, talking about MVP candidate. I mean, I didn't think he was going to win it, but I mean, but still, he had a hell of a year. I mean, for him
to even be spoken of, though, and possibly that top 5 at this point.
Oh, no question. He got my top. He got my. I voted him 3rd. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the dude is just. I mean, he flipped it here. I mean, he came here and it was like, oh wow, like, dude, I didn't think that dude was that good. Not Chris Paul. I'm talking about these other dudes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, what are you doing? And you start looking, you see the pass is like on pocket. You know, nobody's reaching to catch it and shoot. I mean, they get it right in rhythm. And you're like, this dude right here he's searching. And at the end of the game, I mean, he was just he hitting game winners over New Orleans. You know, he hitting dagger threes on the dagger 3 he hit against the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks were just like, this is garbage. You know, like he didn't come into our arena and just did us in. So it's just like he doing it all year, and then you don't even get out of the first half of game 1, you get hurt.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's tough, but we'll see how it goes, though. Start with Sunday. I wish you the best, man. I need to, man. I still know some people in Gannett, man. We gotta, Gannett be funny, man. You know, y'all gotta get your travel budget up and send a brother like Duane out so he could be at the games.
Why are you?
Let Duane go out to LA. I'm gonna put the hashtag out this weekend.
Don't do that, man. Look, okay. Don't do that. All right, I'll be in.
I ain't gonna blow you up.
I'll be 120 degrees heat for real.
I know. I ain't gonna blow you
up.
If
you do that, man, I'm coming to find you in the shower for real. I'm coming to find you, brother.
I'm just talking, man. But
well, I appreciate the love, though. Josh, nice to meet you, man. And
yes,
you got a good brother with you. I mean, he's a little nutty, but you got the right brother.
I just gotta keep up with you. That's all I'm trying to do. Duane Rankin, man. Follow him. Arizona Republic. Give out your socials right quick, man.
Well, I'm on Instagram, Rank Barnes. That's a long story with that name. You know, my homie gave it to me back in the day. He passed. And so that's my Instagram. And then my Twitter is Duane Rankin, DuaneRankin. And I got a Facebook, but, I can't be on there, man. It's too much drama, man. Too much drama on Facebook, man. So I just totally leave it alone.
I got some wild ones out there in Arizona.
Right. I got enough. I got enough drama on Twitter, bro. I don't need the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I was gonna ask. Let me ask you right quick. What do you think about the drama in the arenas that's been going on, man? Has that hasn't spread to Phoenix anything?
Phoenix had it. They had it early.
It has.
Yeah, it was like the Asian. It was like somebody jumped on I think it was an Asian, and so they started the Asian hate, thing, where they really preached that. That was early. When they started expanding the crowds, that's what's happening, man. I mean, they got more people in there. It's like when it was less people, then they were all spread out and in their own little worlds, each of them. You know what I'm saying? Like four in a pod, 2 in a pod. So they were just within their own little space. Yeah. But now it's like there's more people, and it's just like I hate it for like Russ, man, because he just seems to be like he's becoming like a target. They know Russ kind of will snap.
Yeah.
So they just kind of going at him, and then the Trae Young thing, it was like, really? You know what I mean? Like y'all, like this is what y'all doing. So I mean, it just I hate it, man, because it's like, you know, we dealing with this COVID still. I don't care what nobody says. You know, everybody getting vaccinated, but I don't care. I mean, like it's still a problem. So we're dealing with that. And then you got this other thing where you know, they open it up now. Everybody's doing it now. Like it's out. You know, like you got an arena, you watch a game on TV, they like this, knuckled up. You know, so it's like they don't even, you know, so that whole rules of wearing the mask and all that games. Just take a peek, man. When the Knicks or the Hawks, it'll be the Hawks here. I mean, it's like whatever. So you know, they're letting you pass on that, which to me is dangerous. And then you're gonna compound the matters and show your hind parts like that. You know what I mean? Like Utah got a bad rep anyway, and they just went ahead and did it again.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like what? What are we do? Like what is going on? Like you know, it's something that's deeper, and then you don't want to say it is. You know, it got anything with, you know, racial and all that, because you're trying to think that, okay, you know, it can't, you know, we want to be above that, but it just
we spoke to that a bit earlier, and I think I think it comes down to these guys not being respected as human beings and being seen as commodities as much as anything else. It's like,
right.
You know, if I mean, it's not even enough that most of these guys know that these players will whoop them up in a minute if they had a chance. They're not even scared of that. It's just like it seems like you said with Westbrook. It seemed like these people just want to get a rise out of them and create this moment where they have an impact on the players, right, just like their favorite team does or something like that.
Yeah, they can go back to their dudes or go on social and be like, yeah, I you see what I did? See how Russell got upset with me? And it's like, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, you're lucky that they don't have a situation where they can allow, you know, the malice at the palace is saving a lot of people, because if that not happen, you might see Russ, you know, he might have found his way up in there and done some damage.
That's why those dudes was already on him when he was in the hallway. They was they knew, like, I mean, got to walk him to the back, make sure he gets without jumping in those stands.
No question. Yeah.
But Duane, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day and evening, and enjoy the rest of your time covering these Suns, man. Hope they give you as many games possible to cover as they can.
You hoping for that, or you believe that's gonna happen?
I'm hoping, brother.
That's good enough for me. Hey, I appreciate y'all, brothers. I'm gonna get back to finishing up this story because my editor sent me these emails like, "Hey, where's it at? Where's it at?" And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm blaming Kyle. I'm gonna definitely let him know.
Tell him to holler at me, man. Tell him.
I ain't tell him that because you're already trying to ruin my trap.
All right, man. Go on, man.
All right, brothers. Y'all be safe, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Much love. Later. That's my man, Duane Rankin, man. He's a real one. He's been coming on Regal programming for a minute, man. He used to be out in Montgomery covering Alabama, and you know he's doing it, man. Covering the Suns, and you know one day, you know we're gonna be out there back on that pro tip with him. You know, people like him, but knowing that a guy like him is out there winning, you know, does me good. You know, so I definitely appreciate Duane, and definitely he'll be back on the show sometime. So look out for him. But Josh, man, another good show. Wrapping this up, man. You got anything else in your mind? Boston seems to be giving the Nets some run here in this first half, and it looks like the Hawks are ready to put New York away tonight, man. What do you think about these games so far?
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, you kind of expect it. That's what home court, that's what playing on a home court does. So for Atlanta to handle their business, that's big for them. The Brooklyn Nets and Boston, I'm glad Boston is giving some type of life. to this series now that they're playing at home.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you still got Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden with the Blake.
They just put up on the screen. Kyrie only got 2. Tatum got 16 so far. So he's playing the way that he needs to play so far. But it's still early, definitely. You don't want to count out those Nets. And, they could form like Voltron at any minute. So. But yeah, we'll leave it at that though, and leave you guys to watch the rest of these games tonight. Check us out. WeAreRingerRadio.com. WARR on Anchor. Podcast version of this will be available over the weekend. Enjoy y'all weekend, man. Whatever you do, keep it safe. Keep your head on a swivel out here in these streets. And hope you can have a chance to enjoy time with your family and loved ones. Regardless of how long you've been able to see them. Some of y'all may be getting together for the first time in a long time. So, enjoy that and take solace in that and appreciation for that. So, we'll be getting back at you next week sometime. Not sure when exactly, but definitely sometime next week. We could keep it up and going as these playoffs keep going. We definitely going to be here with more good talk and fun for y'all. This is the Runnin with WARR show. That's Josh Hicks. I'm Kyle Means. We keep bouncing, and we see y'all later on the rebound.